Hey guys, welcome back. Third video in the GP Bikes instructional series. Here we are, riding the Big Daddy bikes, MotoGP 2017 mod. Link in the description. At Jerez, I believe I've heard it called by the fancy MotoGP announcer. So today we're going to talk about what it takes to guide one of these beasts around the track. We're going to head out on track here. Jerez, very fun track for learning. Smooth, flowing, definitely worth a look. Fun on the fast bikes. You know, not a lot of directional changes where you got to stop and stuff. Like I said, great track here. So, first things first. We're going to cover the onboard computer settings, the rider aids that you can change on the dash here. You can see to the bottom right of the tachometer, we got the engine map setting currently at medium. There's 4 settings here. We have high, medium, low, and wet. For starters, you probably want to go with the wet. It'll just help under acceleration, helping you manage the front end. You know, if these bikes have enough power, they're going to wheelie in pretty much any gear that you hit the gas in. So on wet, makes it much easier to manage. Plus, they're just crazy fast. You're going to blow through every corner you come up on your first couple laps. No matter how many times I tell you to brake early, turn in early, you're still going to go way too deep first time you try it. Next up, traction control. This is kind of, it's more like a yaw control setting. It'll still allow the wheel to spin up, but it'll just kind of spin up enough to slide a little bit. Oh. So here you can see on 2 how we can still, I think we'll be able to crash on 2 if we try. Seems like 3 and 4, it's pretty hard to slide out. But you can see how he gets... Okay, yeah. If you try, you can crash on 2. We're going to change it up to 3 here. And I don't think we're going to be able to crash even if we try. This is pretty stupid riding and I can't trash. So 3's really the max because you want, you know, sometimes you want that rear steer on the exit of the corner. It helps you turn a little sharper. So I'd say 3 would be about my max recommended setting. 4 seems to keep the bike pretty darn square, which, you know, can make corner exits pretty tricky. Not getting that little bit of extra steering. Seems like 2 would be pretty 2 seems pretty manageable, right? Right as I crash. God damn it. So let's just stick with 3. Anyways, next up, we have the engine braking setting. Now this is something that's pretty specific to bikes. Here, 3 is the highest setting, and 0 is the lowest. That sounds really stupid. 3 is actually the lowest setting, the lowest amount of engine braking. So as you can see, bike really doesn't slow itself down very much. It just kind of maintains those RPMs, comes down very slowly. We go to 0, and it'll sucker right down real quick. But you can't ride with 0 because when you try and take full lean angle, the bike is braking too much under its own power and you slide out. So that's the trade-off. But if you have 3, you will run wide at the apex a lot of times because it's a very unnatural feeling. Almost like you have a little bit of throttle open at all times. And as you can see here, is unless I'm riding the rear brake, I'm going to run wide with 3. 1 is probably too much as well. There's never enough settings on this. It feels like there's always one that works and then the rest are kind of garbage. So on this bike, I'm going to say it's going to be 2. As you can see, 1 was still a little too much, and I really wasn't revving the bike that much. If we set it to 2, it'll slow you down for the corners. You know, you can always play with it. If your gearing works out better to have it on 1. But I just feel like 2, and then you can just use the brake if you need, you know, use your rear brake if you need a little bit more mid-corner brake. So that's the engine brake setting. Usually, like I said, the default is the only way to go. Everything else seems kind of garbage. Next up, we have the anti-wheelie setting, also very specific to bikes. Not a lot of cars will pull wheelies, you know, unless they're designed to, but especially circuit racing cars, you're not going to see a lot of wheelies out of them. Motorcycles, you will. Here, 1 is the least anti-wheeling help, although I do believe there is still some effect to it. Well, not much, though, that's for sure. So, I mean, okay, yeah, there is still some effect. Not much, though. I mean, this bike will pull her up in just about any gear. Well, maybe not 4th. Look at that. Must be clutch. Obviously, when we clutch, it will. So 0 is the least, 3 is the most. I try to talk myself into the fact that I think I can manage it better than the computer, but then whenever I watch the delta bar, it tells a different story coming out of the corners, so... Really, 3 is, as far as I'm concerned, it's a great setting here. You know, I never really have much need for not having the front wheel in contact with the ground. I mean, as you can see here, in this flip here, you can't even go wide open even with anti-wheeling set to 3. I believe 2 is the default for this bike. So that's one of the things you got to learn to manage when you're riding these behemoths. These just, we're talking crazy horsepower to weight ratio numbers, like approaching 1-to-1. So sometimes, you know, you need to, there'll be instances like that switchback there, you never really can get full throttle. You have to be turning the whole time, you know, to get from the right edge of the tire to the left edge of the tire. You can't go full throttle. There, you see, it took me too long because I was full throttle to get to the other side of the tire. Ran wide. So just like all the other bikes, you know, the basic techniques are the same. You got to turn in early. You got to brake early. A lot of times with this bike, you'll be braking before any of the brake markers. Terrible example right here. But it seems like most track, you know, at the best case scenario, you're braking at the earliest brake marker. Although usually you're braking before them altogether. There, I went right at the first brake marker and just made her in. So here's a section where I will not get full throttle on the straightaway. You gotta get out of it so you can turn the bike from the one side of the tire to the other. And it takes an absolute eternity. You know, in a car you'd kind of point her and squirt through there and try and make up a little time, but here, man, it's all about getting it turned. You gotta make the corner before you can worry about accelerating. So here we're going to brake well before the 200 board. There's another one. You know, you can't get wide open forever, it seems like, but it's just what it takes. No one else can get wide open through there, so you're not losing time. So same concepts as all the other bikes. Brake early. Super important here. Turn in early. If you're having a problem where you keep losing the rear end on entry, turn up your engine brake setting. Go from 2 to 3. That'll allow the tire to spin a little quicker. You know, not have so much engine brake effect. And it should keep the rear end underneath you under braking and turn in. So that's about all I got on this one. Give her a try, guys. Link will be in the description, as always, for the track and the mod. Let me know what you think. Leave you with the rest of the lap. Thanks for watching. Bye.